I'm going to create some two-tone text today. So we're going to go ahead and open up a new file, File New, and we're going to make our file 800 by 600 just to display our text nicely. And I'm going to choose my text tool, and I'm going to choose a nice blocky text to give us a nice text effect so that we can read it very nicely. Let's go ahead and choose let's see, how's about Franklin Gothic Heavy. And I'm going to choose a color over here. I'm going to choose a blue color, kind of a lighter blue. And I'm going to make my text 200. No, let's make it about 175. And I just highlighted that and selected it. And I've got my left alignment and my color right here. So I'm going to go ahead and type. So I've got my letters right there. I'm going to move this into place by putting my mouse outside the text area. Click on layer 1, and now this has been completed. The next thing I'm going to do is make a duplicate of this layer. So I'm going to right click on the layer and go to duplicate layer, click OK. The reason that I duplicate layers all the time is just in case I want to go back, I don't have to recreate the entire text. It's already been created. And I'm going to turn the eyeball off of this layer right here. I'm going to go ahead and right click on this and rasterize the type, turn it into paint in other words, and I'm going to do a couple of effects to this layer type. We're going to go to layer style, and I'm going to put a stroke on my letters. A stroke puts a little block of color around it, and I'm actually going to make the stroke color. If you choose color down here where this red box is, I'm going to choose white. So you're not going to be able to see it right away, but we're going to see it in a little bit. And I'm going to turn the size up maybe to about 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there. So now we got a stroke. Can't see it, but we will see it in a second. I'm going to add a drop shadow to my text. So here's my drop shadow, and I'm going to go ahead and move the distance of my shadow up. And so now you can see that the shadow is appearing below. I'm going to go ahead and turn the spread up a bit and the size of my shadow up a bit so I can see it more clearly. So now you can see the shadow underneath the lettering. Move the distance around. I'm going to move this around until it looks right. I want it to be pretty intense, maybe not so much distance. I'm going to back that off a little bit, maybe make the size a little bigger. I'm going to make this really, really dark and intense underneath. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to click OK. So now I've got a stroke of white, and I've got the dark shadow under here so we can see the lettering and we can see that the stroke is there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go over my layer right over the thumbnail of where it says Curtis, and I'm going to hold Control on a PC or Command on a Mac, the key on the keyboard. So hold Command on a Mac or Control on a PC, and I'm going to click, and that's going to give us the text, just the text selected. Now I'm going to come over here to my rectangle marquee tool and select that. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to make it so that I'm only selecting half of the lettering here. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to hold the Option key down, or the Alt. It's Alt on a PC and Option on a Macintosh. So hold the Option key down, and I'm going to draw a box all the way across my lettering, and I'm going to go about halfway through the letters, just about right there, and I'm going to let go. And you're going to see that half of the letters are selected now. And when half of the letters are selected, I'm going to come over here to my colors, and I'm going to just bring this color down so that it's just a little bit darker. Maybe just about there. You can see the current color is here, the dark color is there. We're going to make half the letters a different color, so it's going to look like this on the bottom. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to choose my paint bucket. Paint bucket tool is located under the gradient tool. If you have your gradient tool up, you just hold down your button on the gradient tool and then select the paint bucket. And I'm going to go ahead and start painting these areas. And I'm going to come up to select, deselect, and so now I've got some nice two-tone letters here. The last thing I'm going to do is just I'm going to go to Layer, Layer Style, and I'm going to do a bevel on this. Now your bevel is going to cause your letters to kind of look three-dimensional in a way. So what we're going to do is I'm going to, hold on a sec, there we go. I'm going to just add a little bit of bevel to this just to give it a little bit of depth. I'm going to turn the depth down just slightly. I just want it to kind of pop out a little bit. So you can turn the size up if you want. We want this to be just a little bit raised to give it kind of a little bit of depth. Okay, once you get it to where you want it to be, click OK, and now we've got our two-tone text, kind of bubbly text with drop shadow.